Good morning YouTubians, it's Kermit's Ghost, and this is a different kind of video. Usually I do an out and about, but the UK is on lockdown at the moment and you're probably experiencing this everywhere in the world at the same time. So obviously I can't go to HMV. I do have some pickups to show you that I did get during the week, a couple in the post, and somebody else picked some up for me as well. So there's a few to show you here. And well, let's crack on with it, shall we? The first one is a film from 1953. It's 127 minutes and it's The Cruel Sea. Now this has got three principal stars in it. First one is Donald Sinden, and you probably recognise him from, he's got a very distinctive voice. Never the Twain, if you're of a certain age. He was also in the Doctor films, Doctor at Large, Doctor in the House, that kind of thing. You've also got Jack Hawkins in this, who was in well, a lot of military films. Oh, What a Lovely War, Zulu, he was in that. Ben-Hur with Charlton Heston, Bridge on the River Kwai, and you've also got Denholm Elliott. He was the butler in Trading Places, and he was Marcus Brady in the Indiana Jones films. Now, the story of Jack Hawkins. He suffered terrible losses at sea, sorry, and he is assigned a ship, the Compass Rose, a small vessel that's to accompany boats fighting Germans and whatnot during the war, and it's about really life on the boat, on the small vessel, and it's about the crew getting to know each other and sort of their struggles with the battles and the sea itself as well, like storms and whatnot. So, a great film, 1953, came with a slip. I think this is available in all countries. It's region B locked, this one. So there you go, that's that one from 1953. Thought I'd give you a little bit of an overview, as I'm not going to McDonald's, still not a sponsor, still not open. So, that's the first one. Okay, so the next film is The Lost World. It's not Jurassic Park, although there are dinosaurs in this. This is from 1960. It's 97 minutes long. It's written by Arthur Conan Doyle, a couple of other people. Arthur Conan Doyle wrote the Sherlock Holmes stories. It's got Michael Rennie in this. He was in the Day the Earth Stood Still. He played Plato, the one that Keanu Reeves went on to play, the alien that visits the Earth. It's got Jill St. John in this, and she was in Diamonds Are Forever, Around the World in 80 Days. She was also in Heart to Heart, the pilot, the TV show, and she went on to marry Robert Wagner. It's got Claude Rains in this as well, and I talked about in my horror section. He was the Invisible Man. He was also in the 1935 Scrooge, the one with Seymour Hicks. He played Jacob Marley. He was also in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington and Casablanca, so a real stellar cast, and it's an adventure film. They go to the Amazon. This is the second time, because they've already had someone there before, and I'll explain that in a minute. So they go back for a expedition to the Amazon to find this lost world. And they take this like motley crew with them. You've got a big game hunter, obviously he's there for the dinosaurs, a bit like Jurassic Park 2, was it, when they took Pete Postlethwaite? Anyway, and an author's daughter, a publisher's daughter, and her son. Now, while they're there, there's also a helicopter pilot, and the helicopter gets destroyed on the first day, coincidentally, and they're chasing like a Neolithic woman through the woods, and there's like giant spiders there and all sorts. They discover while they're there as well the diary of the previous person that went there and was lost, a bit like Journey to the Centre of the Earth, the Dwayne Johnson one. Anyway, he's still there, just like in that film, but he's like a blind hermit now. He was Burton. Yeah, he's a blind hermit, and all kicks off. You've got cannibals there. You've got dinosaurs that are guarding this, because in the book it says that there's diamonds, lots of diamonds there, and the dinosaurs are like around the area, so they can't get to the diamonds. There's a huge volcanic explosion They get this T-Rex egg and they take it with them, a bit like Jurassic Park 3. So you can see where all these films are being influenced by this one. The T-Rex egg drops and cracks open, and they take the T-Rex back, the baby T-Rex, back to the London Museum. So a lot going on for a 97-minute film. So check that one out. Great cast, as I said. On to the next film. Next up is Secret of Kells from 2009. This is a 76-minute film, nominated for Best Animated Feature. Now, it is set in the Irish woods, and you have a character called Kells, who's played by or voiced by Brendan Gleeson. Brendan Gleeson was in the Harry Potter series. He played Mad-Eyed Moody. He was also in AI. He was also in Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise. Great character in that. He was also in, most recently, like the Paddington 2 of the series. Now, he is a character who is waiting for an impending attack from the Vikings, and he has a nephew called Brendan, who is voiced by Ewan McGuire, who went on to become an Olympian. Now, Brendan has no taste for battle or fighting or anything like that, and he's working secretly as a Scriptonian in a monastery. Now, a character comes in called Aidan, played by Mick Lally. Now, Mick Lally, this is his last role. He died a year after from emphysema. Rest his soul. And he is a revered illuminator, and he sets Brendan on a magical task, and he has to complete all these magical tasks to, well, you'll have to see. You have to wait and see. And that's that one, The Secret of Kells. On to the next. Next up is Lords of Flatbush from 1974. This is an 89-minute film. There you go. It's about 4 Brooklyn teenagers known as the Lords of Flatbush. They're just like hard drinking, stealing cars, chasing women, that kind of thing, playing pool. It's the story of these 4 teenagers. First one is Chico, who's trying to win over Jane. Jane is played by Susan Blakely, but we'll come back to her in a minute. Chico is played by Perry King. Now, he was the president in The Day After Tomorrow. He was also in Class of 1984. He played Andrew Norris in that. The sort of, I'd say pushover teacher, but he wasn't really a pushover. Susan Blakely, she was in Tower Inferno, Airport 79, and Over the Top. And talking of Over the Top, you've got a young Sylvester Stallone. We all know what he's been in. Over the Top, Expendables, Cobra, Rocky, Rambo. Anyway, he plays Stanley. Now, Stanley, Sosei gets a girl pregnant, and she wants to marry. She's pressurizing him to get married. And he finds out like the day before the wedding, spoiler, maybe she wasn't really pregnant at all. You've also got Henry Winkler in this, who plays like the clown, and he is very intelligent. Fonz. It's the Fonz and Stallone. Got to watch this film. The next film up is Last of the Mohicans, set in 1992. Stars, well, actually, it's directed by Michael Mann, who went on to do Collateral. It's a great film. Actually, I had the pleasure to meet Michael Mann when he was at the premiere of Collateral. Great guy. This is set during the French-Indian War and stars Daniel Day-Lewis, who's a great actor, 3 times Oscar winner. He went on to do Lincoln, one of my favourite films, My Left Foot, There Will Be Blood. Phenomenal actor. And then we have Madeleine Stowe in this as well, who was in Stakeout. Why isn't that on Blu-ray? And We Were Soldiers and 12 Monkeys, General's Daughter, that kind of thing. Good actress. Right, okay, it's about, as I say, it's set in 1757 during the French-Indian War, and Major Hayward is sent to serve Colonel Monroe. Now, Colonel Monroe wants his 2 daughters escorted, so he gets Hayward to do that. Now, Hayward is in love with one of the daughters, Cora. It's Cora and Alice, and he asks Cora to marry him, and she hasn't given him an answer. Anyway, on this, they have also a guide to help them to escort these 2 girls. And on the way, the guide is an imposter, and he leads them into an ambush. And they are rescued by Hawkeye, who's Daniel Day-Lewis and some of his family. And so Hawkeye decides to lead them himself with Haywood, and Cora and Hawkeye start to fall in love, and it all gets complicated, and that's basically the story. Okay, so 114 minutes, I think it is, only 114 minutes long. Daniel Day-Lewis, Last of the Mohicans. The next film is the 1974's Black Christmas, starring Margot Kidder. Margot Kidder was Superman's Lois Lane, in case you didn't know. She was also in 2 films uncredited: Delirious with John Candy and Mel Gibson's Maverick. She passed away 2 years ago, just aged 69, so rest in peace there, Margot. This film had a budget of £620,000. There's a scene in this where Mrs. Mack gets a hook through the neck and she screams whilst being hoisted up into the rafters. Impossible to do. Also, credits in this, phone ringing throughout, very unsettling. There you go, that is Black Christmas. So next up is a film from 1983, 90 minutes long, and it's BMX Bandits. It's an Australian release under the umbrella. It's a crime action comedy, and it's about a bunch of robbers in pig masks. Imagine like Point Break, you know, robbing in masks. Okay, they got a big boss called Brian Marshall, who's played by Brian Marshall. You've got 2 kids, PJ and PJ and Goose, who are BMX riders, and you've got Nicole Kidman, who works a Saturday job collecting trolleys from the mall. They crash into her trolleys and get her the sack, get her fired. So they all team together, go down to the harbour, collecting like mussels and winkles, that sort of thing, to sell, to repair their bikes, and to buy Nicole Kidman her bike. She's Judy, by the way. They find a box of walkie-talkies, police walkie-talkies, and they sell them, get their money. Meanwhile, the bank robbers, they know that PJ, Goose and Judy have these walkie-talkies because they're listening in, and so are the police. There's lots of car chases, implausible, cartoonish car chases on with BMXs and whatnot. And, well, I won't give away the ending, but it's cheesy as hell. And you've got Nicole Kidman, who's like 3 years old. It's a bit older than that. But there you go, this is from 1983. Almost 40 years ago. Next one up is Anatomy of a Murder from 1959. This is a Criterion release. There's a lot of information about the film inside. Picture disc. It's a courtroom drama starring James Stewart. James Stewart is an amazing actor. He's been in films such as It's a Wonderful Life, Harvey, Rear Window. Guy's been in everything. He's a great actor, was a great actor. And he plays a small town lawyer, a former DA. Spends all his spare time now, like fishing and drinking with his friends. He plays Paul Beeger, and he is defending a guy who has been accused of first-degree murder. Now, this guy, Manny, his defense is that the person that raped he murdered raped his wife, and he killed him in like a. Well, he's saying it's temporary insanity because he doesn't remember the murder at all. So there's a lot of angles of this case. They even bring up the fact that maybe his wife wasn't actually raped, it was consensual sex. There's a thing with his daughter that was born out of wedlock, because that was a bad thing back then. They have a great prosecutor working against James Stewart, and the prosecutor is assisted by George C. Scott. I forgot his name then. George C. Scott. He was in Patton, 12 Angry Men, and oddly enough, Christmas Carol. He played Ebenezer Scrooge, the 1984 version. So that's a Criterion version. I forget how long the film is. 161 minutes. So good afternoons or good whole evenings watched there. Get your money's worth. Okay, on to the next one. Next up is Le Mans 66. This was called Ford versus Ferrari, I think, in the cinema, and I think it's known that throughout the world. Just for some reason, Blu-ray release has been named Le Mans 66. It's from 2019 and a budget of 97.6 million. It made 220 million at the box office. It stars Christian Bale and Matt Damon. We all know what they've been in. Great actors. and it's about the recreation of the recreated Ford, or redesigned Ford, should I say, to beat Ferrari at the '66 race in Le Mans. Okay, so that is that. There's no picture disc, just silvery. Interesting to note that James Marigold, who directed this, actually recreated the track for this film. So good on him. Like to have authenticity. Also stars Josh Lucas in this, good actor. So that was it. Thank you so much for watching. God only knows when my next out and about is going to be. Probably something like July, I don't know. But I will keep making videos of the horror section, and I'm doing one as well on another set of films that I'm making my way through. There's like 20-30 of them, but that'll come up in another video probably in the next few weeks, because I have to go through them and write a few notes and then film it, obviously. So let's all try and entertain each other by putting videos out there. I will have to catch up on videos because I'm a couple of days behind. And if you leave a comment, I will get back to you. And thank you so much for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you would. That would be really nice of you in this time of trouble. Click the bell in the corner to get notifications of further videos. And don't forget to subscribe. It's all free. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.